Welcome to More Than Our Story, where we strive to inspire by sharing stories from incredible people. I'm Daniel Height, and today I'm joined by Mike Loghrin and Steve Iseman, co-founders of the Rigid Riders, a cycling community primarily for people with Parkinson's disease based in the Greater Toronto area. It's a pleasure to meet you both. Thank you for taking the time to speak with me today.
Thank you, Daniel.
Our pleasure. Thank you, Daniel.
And I just want to say congratulations on successfully completing your 2025 Spinning Wheels Tour.
Thank you very much.
It's fantastic.
That was just a couple of weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes.
A week ago Saturday. Yeah.
Excellent. So to be remiss, I don't want to be remiss. You both have Parkinson's disease. So I think at the onset to this, I think I would love to have you both explain what that disease is to my audience and how it's affected you. Steve, you can start if you like.
Sure. Well, the weird thing about Parkinson's is it's different with every person. There's maybe 36 major symptoms that you can get. Usually, you only get a handful of them, and it seems to be different in every person. What that handful of symptoms will be. I've been diagnosed with it for 12 years. Both Mike and I got it as a young onset, which is typically when you get it before the age of 50. It's considered on the rare side to do that. So
We double won that one.
yes, instead of winning a lottery, we won this, and it affects, frankly, so many elements of our life, both with physical limitations and cognitive limitations. There's really almost nothing that's left untouched. That said, we've found that life can not only go on, but it can go on either well, maybe in a different way, or well or actually improvements.
So when did you first notice something was happening, and what did you think that was?
For me, it was typing. I had considerable difficulty typing all of a sudden, and I assumed it was some sort of a nerve damage. So I went to a neurologist and got bad news. Mike?
Well, yeah, mine was a twitch in the finger because I had a tremor dominant thing, type of Parkinson's, which is very common. The old Parkinson's thing, about 60% of us don't have something or have it. 60% of us can't smell, lose our sense of smell, which is an early thing. I can't. Different things like that come along in your life. So you notice these weird things at times. Typically, when a young onset person, you've been diagnosed, you've had the disease before your symptoms show up. You've had it about 4 or 5 years at least before symptoms show up. So you're starting to get these weird things like a finger twitch or your toes going numb for some reason, and it turns out to be this Parkinson's thing, which again, mine was found by my physiotherapist when we were working on my wrist, which had cramped up. She said it wasn't responding, so she sent me to the neurologist, and that's how I got diagnosed. So I blame her for my Parkinson's, of course.
So there is over 110,000 Canadians living with Parkinson's right now, and the number keeps rising. And it's projected to increase. Why is that?
Well, here's the kicker. Nobody knows why. Nobody knows why not only the number is increasing, but the rate of afflictions is increasing. And to make it even more worrisome, Canada is a mystery hotspot. So the why is really the sort of thing that keeps us up at night.
Figuring it pesticides could be or linking to it. They're saying chemicals from industrial stuff, from metal making and stuff like this. Like there's different hotspots that seem to be working out of this. So there's things that they're starting to believe it could be from, but there still is no cure. There still is no actual diagnosis for it till you're actually dead and they check your brain cells like concussions and stuff, and they really confirm it.
So Parkinson's can have a financial and emotional impact on Canadians and indeed people around the world. Let's focus on Canada for now. Um, in your opinions, does the Canadian healthcare system, in particular Ontario, which we live in, do they provide adequate resources for individuals afflicted with this disease?
Um, so to properly diagnose Parkinson's disease, you need to consult a movement disorder specialist, which is a special subset of neurologist. What I've discovered is that even a typical neurologist isn't necessarily equipped to diagnose Parkinson's because it's based on interpreting your behavior and you're presenting symptoms to make a determination whether those symptoms are in fact Parkinson's. These movement disorder specialists are rare, and it can typically take 1 or even 2 years to get an appointment to see somebody, and that's after your symptoms have already presented to the point where it now begs the question, what's causing this? Which, as Mike was saying, could be 4, 5, even 10 years after you've already started after you've already contracted the illness.
So can you access medication in that, say, 2 years before you get an actual diagnosis, or do they kind of
Typically not.
restrict that?
Typically not. It's the neurologist that you have to see. Now you go to a regular neurologist, they can obviously diagnose you, but you want to get on to where you have movement disorder specialist. And in Ontario, but across the country, we've noticed, just because we've been there, there's a real shortage of these people. Like when you're waiting 1 or 2 years to get seen by a real specialist, it's other doctors, they may be good and stuff, but they're still, if they're not studied up on Parkinson's, they can really, like some people have said, exercise is not good, where we know it's good for us now. And they'll try different things or tell you not to worry about it, or say it's essential tremors or something. There's different things that I've heard different scenarios from people, and you just sort of going, we need better educated and stuff, and we need more of it too for those people that are sort of going through this disease and they're not seeing the right people.
Do you think Canada needs to make more of a financial investment in Parkinson's research?
I think Canada is about to go through a rush of diagnoses, and it has a lot to do with a biomarker that they've recently discovered, and it's coming near term where that biomarker is going to be available as a blood test. It's not available now, but when it is, I think that the 10 years or so of pre-diagnosis where somebody doesn't even think to go see a doctor, even though they've had it for 10 years, and all of the people who have symptoms but don't have an educated family doctor or somebody to enlighten them to what those symptoms could actually be. I think when you put sort of expanded awareness of what the symptoms are and this blood test together, I think that what the current rate is just going to explode.
So I touched on this earlier, mentioning the emotional and financial impact that Parkinson's can have, not only on people afflicted, but their family and their caregivers. How easy is it to access financial support or even emotional support, like counseling and stuff like that in Canada?
I myself haven't gone for any counseling. I know people that do with it. It can be difficult. And people, of course, with Parkinson's, because you're losing your dopamines, that's the basic cause of it, is the alpha-synuclein build up on your receptors, and you're killing off the dopamine cells and stuff. So that'll lead to depression, as well as all these other symptoms we have to deal with their Parkinson's. So there's a lot of people that do have issues all that way. One thing we like to do is, through what we do, our work and stuff with the rigid riders, is bring community together, like bring them out, get them out there, moving around, build up some new dopamine just by getting out there pedaling. That idea of community really helps with the side of how people can go with the depression and stuff. And, you want to have the medical profession there, and they do well for us, but they're all underfunded everywhere. You know that. Every doctor's place needs more money, and how we're going to have our social net cover it. That's what we got to do. But community, we find it ourselves, is just getting together and telling each other you're not alone and fighting it out.
So that makes for a really good segue. You guys both co-founded the Rigid Riders. How did that initiative come about, and what were the reasons behind it?
Well, it started with I went to a cycling event, a charity event, to raise funds for Parkinson's, and I thought, boy, this is really well organized, and there's really a lot of people here who are supporting us, and a lot of people at the event. And as I looked around, I noticed, hey, I'm pretty much the only one here with Parkinson's. And at this point, I'd done some investigation and discovered that exercises, can be really beneficial for a symptom mitigation with Parkinson's. And yet I'm alone, at this Parkinson's event, and it drove me crazy. I thought, I looked around for organizations or activities that were appropriate for somebody who was on the young side and pretty active and sort of sports minded. And I found that most of the existing options were sort of tuned to somebody either further along in age or further along in the ailment than I was. So that's when Mike and I put our heads together and started thinking about the things that didn't exist in our in our environment to help ourselves and our friends, but really should. And Mike?
Well, he turned to me and said, we got to start this up. So I turned to another gentleman and said, we have to start a cocktail party. Which is the way we started it. Before we did any riding club, we had a cocktail party, a lovely place. What it did was show the people that were kind of serious about it, and we wanted to bring them out together and do that. So we started up doing it on Sundays, basically in the GTA, utilizing the GO system and stuff. We'll go to Hamilton, we'll go to Whitby, do a ride around there with the friends. We'll have anywhere from like 2 to 5 people. Sometimes it's right up to 30 people. Sometimes we get out.
How many members are you guys up to now?
It's closing in on 80, or
I think so, around 89.
Yeah. Do you know there was one hiccup before we got it rolling, which for me was that I was in hiding, which is
very typical.
Which is it's a pretty common course that people tell nobody about their diagnosis and do what they can to hide their symptoms, and which I was doing for 5 years, telling almost none of my friends, almost none of my family, and to go out into the world and to try to connect with people and talk about the benefits of exercise meant that I had to decloak and
come out
and tell the world, hey, this is what I'm dealing with, and all the consequences that come with that.
So with that in mind, how easy is it to enlist new members? I'm sure there's a general sense of apprehension.
Yeah, ours is a club no one wants to join, and from the early days, Mike and I strong-armed them.
We always joked it took about 3 meetings together, like to sit down and talk to them about it, tell them why they should do it. And they go, well, I don't know. And they gave us lots of stories. But about after the third one, they'd come up for that time and try it. And then next thing you know, they'd stick around and keep coming back the next year. So,
and then next year we'd have to start all over again, twisting arms and the very same arms. And
yep. But it's part of the
So-
fun once you get into it, the community of it, that's for sure.
Speaking about the community of it, you've managed to expand this initiative nationwide by founding the Spinning Wheels Tour. Can you describe what that initiative is and how it originated?
Well, in 2022, was it, Steve? I believe so.
yes,
Jim Redmond, who ran the Pedaling for Parkinson's up in Prince Edward County, we attended with the Rigid Riders. Oh, the Rigid Riders would practice every summer to go through it, and then at the end of the year, we'd ride in the Pedaling for Parkinson's event that raised funds, and we rode 40 kilometers. And so far, everyone that set out has made it. The record we're happy with. So we do this every year, but then this Jim talked to Steve about going. He wanted to ride across the country. Why? I don't know. Steve thought, great idea. Let's do it.
before he finished his sentence, he said, Steve, I was thinking of, and I said, I'm in.
Yeah. And so they tell me, and I go, what? Across the country? You crazy. Went home, told my wife, she said, that's good. I've always wanted to do something like that. So she bought an RV and she became a sport driver. And what we did was started in Victoria, BC after we drove out there. Steve and Jim rode all the way across to St. John's, Newfoundland that year. And it was on a shoestring budget, planning our route as we went, but the connections and the friends we made there, the people that came out and joined us at the Rigid Riders in Collingwood that year, in support of it all, it just showed us at the end of it all. When we did that, it was successful at opening up people to coming out and talk to us about it. From meeting a lady in Nelson, BC, who was diagnosed, and she saw her RV there with the sign on it, and she came over and she had her whole parcel of paperwork in front of her, and she had this idea of, like, she'd just gone in to fill her first prescription for Parkinson's. Chance to talk to somebody like that and just hopefully inspire them a bit, just to say, exercise and doing well, and you're on the right path then to help stave off. It helps keep it at bay a little.
We discovered two significant things in the process. One is the sheer number of people that had nobody to talk to about this, and were suffering alone in silence or without counsel or support of any sort. And the second thing was that they wanted to be found. Us showing up in their community was a chance for them to sort of rethink why they were being quiet, or why they were not being open about it, and it became almost a daily event where we'd be in a store, we'd be in a parking lot, we'd be on a trail, and we'd have a chance meeting with somebody, and within a minute,
You're talking over how long, your medications, what it's done to you, what you're hopeful for, all these things, these connections just come through. It's so, I think you might know as well with what your conditions are. It's this, when you meet someone who has it there, they know what you're going through too. You have that kindred spirit, and all of a sudden you're just sort of laying everything bare, because there's no real reason to hide stuff, because it's here and you're dealing with it.
So one of your members, Lloyd Taylor, chronicled his experiences from last year's tour across Canada in his book, The Kindness of Strangers, Coast to Coast. to coast in 60 days. Did you know he was capturing these moments along the race?
I don't think he even knew. He might have been writing them in his head, but he was really thinking about it. And he's such a well-read guy himself. His writing is so fun to hear, do a reading and stuff. He's going to be doing book tours with it now. And even though we're not sanctioning as Spinning Wheels Tour, because some of his stuff's a little far flung there. No, I'm loving the book. I'm reading it now, so it's just, yeah, he writes well, and the stories that he captures are amazing.
So what are some of the, I'll just put it down to Mike, what was your most memorable moment from all the tours up to now?
We've gone 2002. We did the first one across country. Second year in 2004, we started by doing it a relay style, by starting in Victoria with one team and starting in Newfoundland one team, so we could shorten up the time and we didn't have to ride across the country all the way. That year they also rode up the Dempster Highway to the Arctic Circle in Tuktoyaktuk, so that was an amazing feat for some of those guys. Steve was involved with that as well as Lloyd, and some great stories came out of the book there. And then this year we did it again, but I was on the East Coast, so I did the Newfoundland Rail Trail, all these other things. It's been such a fantastic kind of cod fishing to whitewater rafting to, yeah, I can't pick one. Just the opportunities and the fun we've had, the places we stayed, the people we've met. It's just, and people come out to join the tour and go along with us at times. And we've had a lot of rigid riders join us up. We had a gentleman who's new this year to our rigid rider team who joined us from the ride from Quebec City to Montreal. And that was cool, very cool, having him involved. He'd ridden across the country in the early 70s. And I'm sure he had to stop every once in a while to get his bell bottoms out of his jeans with no helmet on and his long hair flowing. But he just to come back and see him ride with us there and get back and inspired by it, you know. Next step for him is get a new bike, David, because it's too heavy, and those downshifters on the but down tube are way out of style now.
I'll pick one. I have a representative story that I think for me summarizes why we're doing what we're doing. So on our trip to Inuvik and then up to Tuktoyaktuk, we are in very remote territory. So you might think that aren't we kind of wasting our time? Where our initiative is to go and find these people where they are, and here we're going where people aren't. So we halfway up to Inuvik, there's a tiny little town called Eagle Plains, and by tiny I mean the sign as you entered the town says that the population is 9 and there's one building, and this one building luckily has a bar, so we stopped there for dinner and a beer. And while we were now this is a rough area. Usually there's only truckers who are ferrying between Alaska and points south, and it's really rough country. Everyone's in plaid, and we find ourselves standing at the bar beside a big hulking guy dressed all in plaid, and he spots us wearing our shirts, and he says, "What are you doing here?" We said, "Well, we're cycling." He says, "What for?" And we say, "Well, we have Parkinson's disease, and we're looking for people with Parkinson's that we can help." And he turns away and then turns back, and you can see that his eyes are reddened and glossy. He says, "I found out 2 months ago, and I don't know what to do." We knew what to do, and we were there to help him, even in the most remote location I've ever been. there was a role for us, and I see a role for us every day.
That's incredible.
Remote
So
location.
what have these initiatives taught you about yourselves?
Don't know about the teaching myself other than enjoying and growing. All you do is be with it, like be in the moment and be there for the people and be there for yourself, because it is a beautiful country and the people we do meet are awesome and they're inspiring in their own right. And to talk about being inspiring is something that I just have trouble absorbing myself, because I'm just out here enjoying myself, what we're doing and stuff. You get out there and talk to people, or to have people come over and say, you know, my wife, she's in the store, but she's got Parkinson's. She'll be right out one sec. And they bring people to you, and in the campsites and stuff, they'll bring people to you just to say, hey, these guys have it, you know, and they can talk to them about it. Or caregivers that are around the campfire. We've had those stories. Just doing all those things inspire me with those people that we've met all along, and the fortitude that the gentlemen showed when they're riding and stuff across the country. And they got me to ride more, in a sense, doing 100K at times, you know, and it's not what I was wanting to get on a bike to do, but they lured me along. So it's really inspiring that way. Just all around, the people in the country truly are nice.
The face of Parkinson's is a lonely one. People tend to be shut-ins. They tend to you physically have they can develop a mask face that doesn't reveal emotion. The world tends to react to that in a not helpful way. There's all sorts of reasons why people tend to stay at home and tend to stay secluded. Mike and I are part of a network of people, frankly, who are more positive minded about life with Parkinson's. It's not the end of the world. It's not the end of our lives. And I ask newly diagnosed people a very odd question, because I want to get a sense of where they are in their journey. I ask them, how has Parkinson's improved your life? And you know, if they're tortured inside, they think that's a ridiculous question. Clearly, I don't get it, because Parkinson's is only a rapacious thug that steals from you. But more frequently, I get the answer, "Hey, that's interesting. I'll think about that." And I think that sort of person is in transition. And every once in a while, I get the answer, "Well, I'll tell you how it's improved my life." And they rattle off 3 or 4 ways that things are better off, and that's my new friend. Because I could rattle off easily 3, 4 ways that my life is richer now with this horrible ailment than it was before.
So where can people find and follow along with your initiatives?
Our website, spinningwheelstour.ca, and also Parkinson Canada. We're there with them on their Pedaling for Parkinson Spinning Wheels Tour. You'll find us where we partnered with them this year, and it was a great partnership, I think. We're all, of course, still, since we just finished not too long ago, we're still sorting out everything, where it's all done and who's all where, and making sure everyone's been taken care of. It's been a whirlwind of activity since then. We've had, of course, Lloyd's book launch since, and we're just trying to get together and see where we're at to assess this year and find out how we go forward from here, because we had such a good time, and we enjoyed the people we met. A lot more people on the road we met with us, rode with us this year. So it was something we want to continue and work on, and through Parkinson's Canada help getting across to there too. We're doing a fairly decent job, I think.
I want to add Go Rigid Riders at gmail.com.
Thank you. I keep forgetting that.
to reach us for rigid riders.
And say,
Well, gentlemen,
oh, sorry.
is there something you'd like to see people out there, say to people out there who have just been diagnosed?
It's not a death sentence. It's just a lifestyle change. And the more, it's sort of a declining thing. So it's this big thing, you're going down, it's incurable, it's down. So you go right to the bottom quick if you want, but you can stay around the top and hang it out and enjoy your life and keep it working. If you work hard through exercise, take your medications, listen to your doctors, and get in community. And that's whether it's a support group or an exercise group, every time you get a couple of people with Parkinson's together, it's a support group. So it's something you can work towards and make that little spin out at the top for a long time before you start any downward descent, as much as you can.
Well said. I would say this. When you get this bad news, and frankly, we all start exactly the same way in a doctor's office, receiving bad news. You walk out feeling vulnerable, and feeling like things are in decline. But actually, nothing happened that day. You were the exact same person that you were when you went in. The only thing that happened was you were robbed of your life plan, something that you sketched out for yourself. This is who I am, and this is what I'm going to be, and this is what I'm going to become, and here's my rough timetable for it. But that life plan was always an illusion. So now there's something new. Now there's something new that they have to work into their lives, and they think frequently that this is too big, too much for them to handle. It's not. Take a bit of time to feel sad, a bit of time for despair, and then put it away and start incorporating this new reality. Find its edges, and overcome your fears, and chart a new course.
So, gentlemen, thank you both for sharing your incredible story today. What you've accomplished with the Rigid Riders is fantastic and bringing much needed attention to this terrible disease. Your refusal to be defined by your condition is a testament to your bravery and your audacity. I wish you the best of luck with your and continued success in your ventures, and keep the wheel spinning.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Daniel.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too.